Hello ladies and gentlemen, how you doing today? My name is Bilify, and today we are here to counter a glove. Which glove might that be? Why, of course it's the Frostbite glove! These are going to be the amazing goobers that are going to be helping us to figure out what counters this brand new Frostbite glove. We have Ivan, Sho, Bio, Carl, and Mew. I appreciate all of you. Let's get into this. So if you see them getting ready to slam the ground, the rocks should work, but I wouldn't use diamond, even though it can work. I'd definitely use either custom or mega rock. Once you see them start to use that charge, go into the rock form. It's a long charge, so you have plenty of time. You can get out of this and stay in this little ice hockey rink and not turn into a rectangle. So if they're charging it up, it works out even better in your favor, but as soon as you see them start to do that pullback, go into rock form, and you can avoid it. How about Zzz? If fighting and you see them use the ability, you can definitely go into Zzz and avoid it. Nice! Zzz is just like the rocks. If you time it very well, you can fully avoid it and go right back into fighting. Do you have enough time with Flash? Alright, so you see them use the ability. We dash out of there. Yes, you could use it that way, but what happens if you do get hit? You cannot use the ability, so don't get hit with Flash. Just use it to avoid. If you time out the spring jump, can you jump over the initial AoE? Alright, if you're fighting, and it happens to be like right there, if you notice it, yeah, you can back out of it. It does work that way. It can work, but I feel like there's just much better to use. LOL bomb is always that, you got me, but I guess I'm gonna have to get you moment kind of a glove. So if you're fighting and you see them start to use the animation, just use your animation. You won't get turned into a frozen ice block, it'll just hit them, but you're gonna die, so it's not a good combo, or not a good counter, sorry, not combo. Timing the jump with space would be hard, but you could pull it off. So say you're fighting and you see their ability starting to be used, you could easily jump in the air and then drop back down, but the bad problem with space is its ability. It takes a long time to get back, so they win the cooldown battle and you'll become a frozen ice block. Space is like very low and 50-50. Can you dash out of there if you see them starting their ability? Alright, so say you're fighting and you see them starting the ability, you could absolutely run out of that. Speedrun is fantastic. I'm on the edge of whether I want to call this a top counter or not, but you do have to focus on the Frostbite user the entire time, so that's the only reason I may or may not want to put this at top or not top counter. What happens with Golden? Well, Golden, you cannot be turned into an ice block. You are perfectly safe. The bad part with Golden, though, the cooldown. They've already used it a couple times, and I'm only halfway with power up, so yeah, not the option I would use. Alright. Oh, but you can use it to keep yourself safe after you've been frozen. Fun thing to do with the gold glove is if you do get turned frozen and use the ability, you will become Bluify. Golden works, but definitely find a better option. Do clones get frozen? Oh, they do? Oh, wow. That's one of the few rare cases where a replica clone will actually be affected by another glove. Defense? You cannot use defense while frozen. So you get frozen, but you can't be slapped by them. So defense slightly works, but at the same time, is this what you want? Do you want to become a frozen goober? What happens with reverse? Oh, it turns them frozen. Ah, reverse works. Reverse definitely works. And you have the faster cooldown. This will be a gold tier counter, easily. Shukuchi definitely works. You see them starting to use the ability. use the Shukuchi and you can avoid it because you're in animation. Oh, and you get the faster cooldown. So this is going to be a top tier option as well. Reverse and Shukuchi back-to-back W's. What can be useful in two ways, maybe. Alright, if frozen, oh, you can't use. It's only going to be useful in one way. Alright, so say you're fighting and then all of a sudden you see one of them start to use their ability. Push them back. Oh, it canceled the ability too. Interesting. Woah wins the cooldown battle. Okay. At best, this is 50-50. Balloony is super effective here while using the 2-balloon method. Always have 2 balloons. You can even do it with 1, but I always recommend that you have 2 balloons active so that you can always just jump out of a sticky situation or a cold situation, if you will, for this. No, not a good joke, no. Track, Tableflip, Ping Pong, and Slicer are all going to be deterrent gloves for this. These are just gloves that you can use offensively to hit them before they hit you. You should be able to Excavator beforehand. Alright, so you see them using the ability. Go under yours so you can't be frozen that way. I think they might win the cooldown battle, I'm not going to lie to you. It's the same time. You cannot use while frozen. Okay, works, but there's way better options. Grapple works as a good escape, but just as an escape, nothing else. So if you're fighting and slapping and then all of a sudden they use their ability, ooh, you gotta be quicker. I was slow with it because I wanted to turn my character around, which I didn't need to do. But again, if you're quick enough with it, you can easily avoid it. This is a good escape counter, but nothing for offense, so I'm gonna say 50-50. Can you avoid it with Blink? Oh, you can avoid it with Blink. Oh, interesting. The good thing with Blink too is if you see it happening, you can do it really quick and panic use it to avoid being frozen. So Blink is actually a really good option here. You can't use it while frozen though, so just keep that in mind. Phase should keep you safe. Just go into phase form and you cannot be turned into an ice flock, but you do have like a slippery effect that happens when standing over that. And phase does win that cooldown battle. Okay. This works to keep you safe, and you have a faster cooldown, so I'm gonna say that this is either 50%, maybe even higher up to 75% counter on this. Bomb, bubble, jet, shard, and even bob in this are all gonna be deterrent gloves. I wouldn't say that these are counters. A lot of offense, but no defense. Moon should work out better than spring, I believe. You have a lot more hang time. Yeah, I think you should definitely have a lot more time with this. As soon as you see them start the ability, just jump and you can avoid it with Moon. There's way better options than Moon, but this is something that can work to jump over. Like if you were considering using Spring, I would use Moon over Spring for sure. Hybrid's 50-50. You could use the speed or the jump to get out of the way, but I feel like there's a better option than trying to like spam your ability button to figure out what you should use. I'd use SLAPPLE over Hybrid for sure. If you go up into the tree, it'll push them back if they're close, but if you're already in a tree, you can't be put into a ice cube. You are perfectly safe. Wowie! You win the cooldown game, and you can always keep yourself protected. Yeah, this will be a top tier counter for sure. Can you make it on top of Larry and be okay? Ooh, Larry slides. You could use Larry and jump on him if you have a user that's about to use it right next to you. I wouldn't say Larry's a top counter. It'd be like 75% counter, because if you can get on top of Larry, they can't affect you. But if you're not on your Larry, you might be struggling a little bit. How does charge play out here? You would have to save your cooldown for the fight, but if you are fighting and you see them start to use their ability, you can use your ability and hit them to stop theirs. Which ability wins the cooldown timer? Charge wins the cooldown battle. So I would say that this is like 75, maybe even like 85% counter to it. Elude works, but it's not a top counter. The reason I say that this is not a top counter is because with Elude, you can be frozen, but you can't be slapped. So you're perfectly safe with Elude against a Frostbite user itself. Fish works out very well here. So if you're fighting, you can't use it while it's frozen, but if you do get hit, oh, wow. This is a fish counter. So the only thing you could do with fish is use it before the ability lands on you. That's like the only way you can use fish in this scenario. You could even just use the ability and fly up in the air like that. I thought fish was gonna be gold, but this is low end 50-50. Voodoo combinations should work here. All right, we've got our test subject. And they turn into ice! Ah, the combos with Voodoo do work. Can you nerf them if you slap them with Leash? They can't use their ability while Leash. And they can't get up off of ice either because they're in like the Z format. But it's only 50-50 because it's a passive, so you have to get the slap off, and they have an ability that has a large AoE. What happens with Boogie? You cannot use this while frozen, so this is something that you're gonna have to use beforehand. So they can still use the ability if they start it, but they can't slap you. So you're just gonna be standing there like a bunch of frozen people. I think Boogie's like 50-50, maybe 75% counter. Can you psycho jump over? This could actually be very good. If you double jump, for sure, and you get your telekinesis jump much faster than they do, they can't use the ability while being held. It's been a while since I've been able to say Psycho is a top counter. Can you panic use with Rob? You cannot use Rob while frozen, so this is going to be something that you're going to have to use beforehand. So if you see them going to hit, go into Rob form, you will not transform into the ice block. Rob works, but the problem with Rob is the cooldown. They get it about a half a second to about a second before you do. So 75% counter, something like that. Rhythm's fast speeds are like the same as Speedrun, but I like Speedrun in this scenario. The long animation with Rojo is just like Shukuchi, but it's not as effective because your ability takes longer to get back, and if you miss, you're done. So 50-50. The guns of Hitman work well to keep them distanced from you and not take any hits. Retro can work here. So if you're fighting and you do have the bomb ready, once you see them go to use their ability, use the bomb and get out of the way. Well, obviously don't land into another bomb, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. The only reason I'm going to say that this is not a top counter is because you would have to know to play the bomb glove or the bomb ability when they're close to you, and then swap over to like the band hammer or something and hit them back. You would have to hover the bomb for the most part while fighting them, so I'm going to say that this is like 75% counter. Can they remove null minions off of their ability use? If not, this is a good deterrent, not counter. Nope, so they would have to run or do something, so this could be a counter. Not a counter, sorry, this could be a good deterrent. You should be fully safe with Alchemist if you can get to the invincible potion. You just need to pick up 1 mushroom and 1 elderwood, place in 1 elderwood, 2 mushrooms, and go ahead and click the ladle, giving you an invincible potion. Drink that up, and if they try to transform you into an ice block, it ain't gonna happen because you're fully safe. Now you can go collect other potions, like explosion potions, lethal potions, whatever your mind might cross for whatever potions you might want to throw, and you can create them without any worry wary of being turned into an ice block. If Druid wins the cooldown battle, it should be a top counter against them. If you see them using their ability, use yours, push them back. How does the cooldown battle play out? Oh, it'll be close. It might be the exact same time. No, Druid does win it. Okay. I want to say Druid's a top counter, but since you can use abilities while being tangled in the vines, you have to use it as soon as you see them start to rear back and use their ability. Use yours. It'll cancel theirs out if you are close enough and put them into the Druid vines. If you use it too early, they can still use their ability while tangled up, but if they are tangled up, it gives you enough time to back out. So I'm leaning towards top counter for this. Does Santa's iframes last long enough? All right, so if they use the ability and you double jump, oh yeah, for sure. And you win the cooldown battle, so you would have no worries. No worries with this. They can slap you after, just keep that in mind. But I'm gonna give Santa a top counter here. I think you have enough time with Iceskate. All right, if you see them getting ready to use the ability, oh yeah, I think you have enough time with Iceskate to avoid it. And you get your ability back faster, so I think Iceskate could be a very good option here. But this is like Grapple. This is just for evading, not for fighting. Can you use admin while frozen? If frozen, you cannot use the abilities or change. Okay, but you can use Fling. That is one good thing that you can use with admin. So this is like 50-50, maybe even a little bit lower because you can't use it after you've been hit. You have to like panic use it. Joust has a short, brief animation, so you can bypass with this. So if you see them starting to use their ability, just go into your Joust and you can't be hit and you can't be frozen either. The only thing you'd have to watch out for is the horse throwing you off. Divebomb is just like Psycho, but just not as good as Psycho. You can double jump just like Psycho to avoid, but you do have a longer cooldown with the propulsion than you do with the Psycho jump, so you have to watch that. Ooh, you can be stopped in the Divebomb ability. Divebomb does work, it is like Psycho, but I would much rather use Psycho over Divebomb because Divebomb's cooldowns are a lot longer than Psycho's. And then you could always fight fire with fire, or in this case, ice with ice, and use Frostbite against itself. And ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it for our counters on this brand new Frostbite glove. Pretty crazy, not gonna lie to you. Shout out to everybody that you do see on your screen right now. We have Ivan, Show, Bio, Gravity, Mute, and Carl. Huge W's right there. Now you gotta let me know, which counter surprised you the most? I think you know mine, I had the biggest reaction to it. Fish really surprises me. I didn't know it was gonna cancel the ability after you've been frozen. That's crazy. There's very few counters to Fish, and this is now one of them. But you also have to tell me which glove you thought was the best counter. I would have to probably either say Zzz because it's low costing and it's super effective, or reverse. Either or, one of those two are great. But let me know what your choices are. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we all hope that you have an amazing rest of your day or night whenever you do end up watching this, and we will see you in the next one. Later! Spinning wave.